Hello. So I have pretty much recovered, I'd say, from my COVID experience. Um, it wasn't beautiful, so it wasn't nice. So that's why I took a break from these daily videos. I kept working though, so I'm just bad at doing nothing, honestly. But I wasn't able to do as much as I hoped I would be able to. So anyway, I kept working on some important projects. I kept making progress. I kept experimenting more than anything. I kept doing whatever I could with my limited ability to hear and focus. Um, but there was some interesting things that I did this week, and I wanted to share those with you. So the first one is I finally migrated like my whole setup to my new computer. So I switched from my MacBook Pro 2018 with the Intel chip to the new M1 Pro, which is a night and day difference in performance. So it's just incredible. That is that, and also luckily, and I promised you to report, it works. Everything works like a charm. So I have to run Cubase in Rosetta mode though because of some plugins like the SoundToys plugins that are compatible but only as VST2s. And if you run Cubase without Rosetta, so if you run Cubase natively on the M1 chip, you have better performance, but also you can't run VST2 plugins anymore, only VST3. So right now I'm forced to use Rosetta, but honestly, it's still a night and day difference in performance, which is kind of insane if you think about it. I had a fully maxed out 2018 MacBook Pro with the i9 chip, and now I have the M1 Pro, and it completely smokes my old computer completely. Like projects that were maxed out on my old one are now like 50% maybe or less than that. So it's really great. And the fan doesn't turn on at all. I haven't heard it yet. So it's like, or like I have heard it very, 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 very quietly if I get really close to it, but I can't hear it in the room. It's like dead silent here when I'm mixing. Um, so yeah, that's been really awesome. It doesn't get hot right now as I'm recording this video directly into my computer. My camera is connected directly to the computer and all, and there's like apps running in the background. Cubase is still open and all of that. If I look at my CPU temperature here that I'm measuring, it's like 32 degrees Celsius. So like my old computer would be like at 70 or something. So yeah, it's really, really cool. There's that. The other cool thing that I did was that I learned and experimented a lot. So I read a lot, I listened to audiobooks a lot. I reread Zen and the Art of Mixing. I think that's the title, right, by Mixerman. I actually have to check that, not that I say something weird here. I think it's called Zen and the Art of Mixing. Let's see. Oh, that was my phone telling me I need to go to bed, which I will do in a second. So yeah, Zen and the Art of Mixing. Yeah, that's the title. I reread that because I remembered that I really liked it the first time I read it, and it still is a really, really, really awesome book that I enjoy a lot. And so yeah, I reread that, and I will share some of the things that I sort of rediscovered while I was doing that. I want to share those in the next couple of videos because I don't agree with everything he says, but I still think it's a really cool book. There's an updated version of it. I've listened to the audiobook. I think it's been recorded this year or last year or something. It's been published just recently, I think at least. But it's like updated, it's relevant, and there's some really great points that he's making that I absolutely believe in too. There are some things I don't quite view the exact same way, but overall, I really agree with what he says in that book. Anyway, regardless of whether I agree completely or not, I think it's a great, great, great resource. So I reread that. I applied some of the things again and thought about it again. And then another thing that I did was I experimented a lot with my setup here in the studio. So whenever I felt like I couldn't focus anymore, or I didn't have the mental bandwidth anymore, or the hearing ability, I experimented a lot, and I did part of that at my studio once I was out of quarantine, and then the first couple of days while I was in quarantine, I wasn't allowed to leave home. I wasn't allowed to leave home, so I had to do a lot of experimenting on headphones with plugins. So what I did was I tried to avoid. I tried to find different solutions to achieve things I've been doing to achieve. Sorry, I've tried new solutions for some of the problems that I keep solving all the time, that I have to solve over and over again on the mixes that I'm working on. I hope that makes sense. So there are certain things I always sort of have to deal with. There are certain things I do every single time I mix, almost every single time. And I have my go-to solutions for that. And I try to mix things up a little bit. I try to find different solutions for those same problems so that my mixes stay fresh and I'm not accidentally making everyone sound the same, sort of. I think that is really, really important. And by the way, one of the concepts from that book also, and I really agree with that. I think we should. I'm all for a fast workflow and for being effective, efficient, and because that enables you to be in the zone and to not think about too much about technical things. I really want to just react to the music and work intuitively. But I also don't want to repeat myself too often, and I want to keep it fresh, and I want to make sure it's about serving the song and about the art and not about like doing my thing that I always do. It's about the song and the artist and the musical content, which is much more important than my role as a mixer. I just have to serve that, and I have to bring out the best from it. And I need to, in order to for me to be able to do that, I need to be objective and fresh, and I need to challenge myself. I need to switch perspectives. I need to try new things all the time. And I felt like I did a lot of the things basically exactly the same for quite a long time now. So anyway, I used the last week to experiment a bit. I ran things out of the computer through my analog gear, printed it back in. Which I do often, but like I try different combinations of things. And analog gear always behaves differently depending on how hard you hit it and the order of things. So I try to change things up a little bit there. And then also in the box, I tried new plugins. I replaced a lot of plugins in my template with others just to see if I could get to a similar result with a different tool. If things end up sounding the same or completely different. I experimented with plugins that I've never used before. I tried to get rid of some things entirely and see if I could get away without it. I, for example, minimized my bus processing on the mix bus and compared that to my pretty heavy processing that I was used to doing. And and like it was challenging, fun. There were some things that were surprising, some things that worked very well, other things that didn't work as much. But yeah, it was just fun, and I'm really excited now for the next couple of songs and mixes that I'll be doing here at the studio because I can apply all these new things, and I feel fresh again. I feel motivated. I want to catch up, and like I didn't lose a lot of time, so I'm still on track for all the projects. But I want to catch up and like get going again and keep up the pace and implement all those new things. So yeah, there's that. And then one final thing. This is a long one. Sorry, it's just a lot that happened this past week. And then one final thing is I also learned, and that I sort of learned a lot about, like, quote unquote, a lot about making videos, because video has always been I don't know, I just didn't really like it. It was something I had to do, especially for coaching and courses. But I love audio much more than I love working with video. But now I kind of have found some appreciation for creating video, and I bought myself some tools to play around with. I bought myself a smartphone gimbal, an inexpensive one where I can just put my iPhone on that and then walk around and make cool looking clips with my pretty cool, pretty decent iPhone camera. So I'm planning on documenting the things I do here with my analog gear and reamping and all those things. I plan on documenting those, and I want to have like smooth video to show that. So I experimented with that. Then I learned a bit about like video formats and like best practices and a little bit about lighting. And so I hope I can improve my video content in the future. This vlog will always be very raw, basically, because it's just a quick daily thing that I do, and it's just a behind the scenes kind of thing. But as I already said, we're launching the video content now, and it will not be perfect in the beginning, but we will improve quickly, I hope. And I'm doing my best to learn those things, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's it. It's been long enough. Thank you for watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a great week, and bye-bye.